YouTube, and welcome back to Alternative Review. Today I will be doing a track review of the tracks I missed last week. In this review, we will talk about Spaceman by Nick Jonas, Last Man on Earth by Wolf Alice, Let the Bad Times Roll by The Offspring, and Snow Globe by Water Parks. So let's get right into it with the first song, Superman by Nick Jonas. This will be playing quietly in the background while I review it. This song's well. So, let's get negatives out of the way. The auto-tune on a chorus, when he hits that high note in the background, is laid on way too much. And the chorus on the song is way too repetitive. But it's a pop song, so what should I expect? Now, positives. I like the synth in the back. His vocals are good when there's not auto-tune on it. The beat is extremely good, and the song's catchy. He definitely knows how to write a hook. The acoustic on the bridge is really nice, too. And his down, when he goes down on the vocals, that makes the song more recognizable, in my opinion. Here, over that chorus, is a high note in the back. That's about all there is to say about the track. It's just a basic pop song, 81 out of 100. Next track, Wolf Alice, The Last Man on Earth by Wolf Alice. I had never heard anything by Wolf Alice before this track, which was probably a bad decision on my part. But when she layers her voice, it sounds really nice on this track. The piano is reminiscent of something that would have been made in the 80s, and the vocals, when she goes into a higher range, are extremely nice. On the bad side of her vocals, when she's singing slower and a more slurred voice, it slows down the whole song. It's still pleasant to listen to, but I wish she would have maybe went higher for a lot more of it to speed the song along, because it's already a 4.5 minute song. And it speeds up when the drums kick in, and which the drums are really nice. And then when the electric guitar comes in, this song needed no electric guitar, but it was added, and it sounds amazing on this track. It adds something you didn't know you needed. And like I said, when her vocals go higher like that, it sounds really good and nice to the ears, which is exactly what music's supposed to do. Next track, Let the Bad Times Roll, The Offspring. Let's start off with positives for this track, because there's only one negative, but that's the last thing we're going to talk about, and if you've seen my Green Day review, you could probably guess what that is. But positives, the acoustic opener is nice, and so are those claps that he puts over it. Then when the drums and electric guitar come in for the first verse and chorus, it's insane. It sounds insane. It sounds like something that probably would have been made in 2000s, with minus the vocal effects, which will be talked about later. When we get to the second verse, it balances out that fast electric guitar by putting in the acoustics backing, and it's an extremely catchy track. The Offspring proved they still know how to write a track after all these years, and it's great. But the negatives, I have to say, they use the same vocal effects as Green Day did on their last album and last single, and it's not good vocal effects. I don't know why any of the bands use them. Overall, this track is an 87 out of 100, in my opinion. And if I didn't give a score for Wolf Alice, which I feel like I didn't, it's an 89 out of 100. Water Parks, Snow. This track needs to be discussed, but not in length. Because let's just say, it scares me that this song is not a pop punk song or pop rock song. It really does. Because, what does it mean for the band's future now? That they're going for more of a pop sound. And as we see these I think what's gonna happen is we've got a lot of larger rock bands coming back. Kings of Leon, Neon Trees came back last year. Green Day had an album. All Time Low had an album last year. All these bigger bands are coming back and starting to get chart success in the rock lane. And I think what's going to happen is a lot of these smaller bands who can't get the success in that lane, like Water Parks, The Unlikely Candidates, Banners, Wallows, Nothing Nowhere, Architects, that it's going to start pushing them out farther into the pop lane. Because they're having to compete with bands like Offspring, Wolf Alice, or bands and artists like that. And they can't do it. It's as simple as that. They can't compete with a Green Day track coming out. They can't compete with an Offspring track. And the vocals are terrible on this track. Let's just get that out of the way. These effects are worse than what's on the Green Days and Offspring song. And that's not saying much. Oh yeah, the other band that I think I need to discuss here is Rise Against. Because Rise Against basically does the same thing every album, right? They have the same few songs. They've gotten a formula that works for them. And the last time they had an album, they had a charting song off that album, 2017. They had The Violence. I don't think it did particularly well, but it hit the Hot 100. I don't remember for how long, but it did hit the Hot 100. And if Rise Against sticks to that formula, that works. Because, they got Savior on the charts, Help is on the Way on the charts, Prayer of a Refugee, and The Violence, and all those songs have a similar sounding, a similar feel to them. So, it's like, they can't compare to that. Because bands like that know what to do. And let's not forget to mention Nickelback's probably making a comeback soon, which I'm happy about, but I know most people aren't. But this song has good lyrics, which is something it has going for it over a lot of these bands. Like, it holds it over Green Day's head for sure. The synths are nice, I guess. The bass is amazing. I don't know why I said bass. It's a good pop and R&B song, basically. It's not a rock. Don't go into this expecting any sort of rock, pop punk, any of it. It's basically a Bruno Mars B-side, let's just say that. Even though it doesn't... It's basically Bruno stopped making throwback songs and moved on to start making his own songs in the same lane as 24 Karat Magic. Yeah, that's basically all there is to say to this song. It's 79 out of 100. I don't know. I haven't heard much by the Water Parks before this song. And it definitely scares me that they're going in this direction. It scares me because they're one of the more popular pop-punk bands out there right now. So if they're going to transition, who else will transition with them? Because, let's just, I don't know. It's a bad sign for rock, in my opinion. It's a good sign and a bad sign at once. Because it means these bigger bands are coming back and pushing the smaller bands out. But then again, how long does Green Day have left? They're going to keep making music for forever, yeah. How much more good music do they have in them? The last album had a couple of songs that were good. It had, it had, which I liked decently. If not just because it was a change from every other song in the album. Take That Money and Crawl was good. And Father of All and Fire Ready Aim have grown on me. And Meet Me on the Roof have all grown on me. But every other song, I can't remember. I can't remember the track list other than that. And that's sad. And The Offspring, the Neon Trees came back, didn't have a hit. The Offspring are coming back, and we've yet to see how this track will do. 10,000 likes and 237,891 views aren't bad. I don't think it'll chart mainstream, though. and Falling in Reverse has been getting more popular steadily for the last few years because of their hybrid music that fits in well in pop radio, but still holds on to rock elements and leans more towards rock than anything else. And the genre is just a mess right now. I mean, you thought this 3 years ago, but All Time Low's last album had their most popular song off the album had a rapper on it, and it had a rap verse on it. The band, The Score, if you haven't heard them, they're a really good band. Go listen to them. But their last album had a lot of rappers and rap verses on it, and they headed more towards a rap rock sound. Overall, I think that's where rock is headed for the most part. I mean, I don't see any way out of that. If rock gets popular and goes back onto the charts, it's going to have to go to more of a rap sound. And that's just what it is. And bands like the Offspring were already doing that. Offspring, Red Hot Chili Peppers, they already had that rap sound integrated into their music. So those are the bands we're going to see succeed. And even Rise Against had a faster paced kind of vocal to where the vocal was almost a rap, but he's still singing the words. And those are the bands that are going to succeed throughout the next few years in the rock genre. And bands like Nothing Nowhere too. But the other thing that scares me about this Water Park song is the fact that the Wallows Deluxe part did about the same thing, where it went from more of an R&B and less of a rock sound with these vocal effects on it, and I didn't like that at all. Granted, this Water Park song is better than anything on that deluxe edition, but, I mean, the Architects new album, it got so repetitive. They used the same guitar every single time, and it just got annoying over time. And it is what it is, but that's why rock died in the first place, because it was getting so repetitive, and all the rock bands kind of just died out. I mean, Panic at the Disco went for more of an acoustic sound, which not to say that it wasn't already there, but that's just what they went for. And to the 2010s, My Chemical Romance left after an album that some people liked, some people hated. I mean, Green Day went on Trilogy, which is easily, with the exception of Father of All, their 3 worst albums. Bands like The Offspring did one last album and left. Fall Out Boy went on hiatus. Paramore was doing, who knows, I don't even know what the fuck Paramore was doing. And we got these new bands that tried to continue on pop punk, like Water Parks and Remo Drive, but they fell off pretty quickly. Like, I mean, Water Parks didn't fall off till now, in my opinion, but I think this is a sign of them falling off. And Remo Drive, they had that first amazing album, and then they just died. I mean, yeah, in like All American Rejects, I'm pointing up here because I have their CD, but they fell off. Bon Jovi, he had This House Not For Sale, that was a good album, and then he fell off. Foo Fighters, they haven't had a good album this decade. They've had good songs, they haven't had a good album. Fun, they had that one album and died. All these rock bands just like gone. And it really shows right now with Dua Lipa and Ariana Grande controlling the charts. And you've got to think, if you consider bands like Queen rock bands, which they, in my opinion, they lean more towards the pop side, but some people even consider Elton John rock, which I think is crazy. But if you consider those rock artists, rock has basically controlled the charts from late 60s, if you're considering the Beatles rock too, from late 60s all the way to mid 2000s. That was all controlled by rock with bands like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Queen. I probably need to end this video pretty soon, but yeah, all those bands, rock just controlled it for decades, and it just died. It got too old. People were doing it too often, and I'm glad to see artists like Wolf Alice and The Offspring doing those sounds. that's what makes me sad that Water Parks is leaving that sound, because they had a promising future. And the genre, especially with the genre seemingly making a comeback at this point. But yeah, I probably need to end this video. So that was the tracks I missed this last week. If there are more, just comment them. There might be a part 2 to this video if there are more. But I think I covered all the main ones. Yeah, this has been Alternative Review. Hope you enjoyed the vid. Have a nice day.